And I was like, okay, I'll do it. $500 and a photo shoot. I'll be on a magazine. Sick. And I showed up and there was so much denim.
Let's be honest, in the industry here, is the anime is not high-paying, job in the, LA.
Don't tell them. They all know. They all know.
Yes.
You guys all know.
So, of course, once you make your name and then experience working through anime, it was a natural thing, and then there's no hard feeling or anything. But when I first met you, Robbie, you were already doing other things.
Yeah.
And then you said you wanted to do anime. So there are a lot of actors that I met before you that once they find out, they see all the convention, the fame, the fan following, they're like, oh, I want to do anime too. But then once they find out how low the pay is, they're like, oh, no, thank you, right? So honestly, when I first, said you wanted to do anime, I was like, oh, maybe Robbie, he doesn't know how.
Maybe Robbie's stupid. And she was right all along. Yeah.
But the next thing I found out, you were Tuxedo Mask.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then.
That was my first anime. Yeah, I could tell you really quick how and why that happened. Sure. Do you all know who Mami is, by the way? Yeah, head of casting over at Bang Zoom, responsible for all the awesome voices that you hear. Solely responsible for any show I've ever done with them, to my knowledge. So I started in a more traditional way. I had an agent, and I was doing commercials. I was doing audiobooks, a little bit of film and television, and I was doing cartoons primarily. Was my bread and butter, where I was making my money and most of my jobs. So I've been doing that for about 5 years, and Bing Zoom doesn't just do anime. Sometimes their studio also outsources for shows for Disney and Nickelodeon and all these other properties. It might not be those exactly, but those kind of companies. And so I'd done work there. We recorded our 2017 Spider-Man at Bang Zoom Studios. We set up all of the engineer at the time would do big group records with a dozen of us. It's a great space to record in. And so what had happened is I was doing cartoons, and I was doing a bunch of them, but I hadn't had my hit yet, right? I was looking for that show, and I did a show that got me in the door, and when I was doing all this other stuff for Transformers and Nickelodeon and whatever, and then I had a year where I had 4 pilots. And they were all pretty good, and 2 of them were great, and I was the lead in all of them. And I was like, this is it. This is my ticket in. I'm going to be the next super cartoon guy. That doesn't exist anymore. And none of them went. And I got real sad, and I cried and cried. And then and my buddy was like, hey, I've got a ticket to Anime Expo. And I was like, oh, man, I used to watch a bunch of anime. I watched DBZ in college. I watched a ton of Cowboy Bebop, all the OG Toonami stuff. But I hadn't thought about anime in a while. But I loved it from back in the day. And I was like, ooh. Okay, I'll go to Anime Expo. And at the time, there were maybe 40,000 people. This was 2013, I want to say. And it was pretty big, though. And I was like, ooh, this feels like not something you talk about in secret, right? Anime's mainstream, and all the homies are out enjoying anime. And I was like, okay, cool. Maybe that's something I'll do to spice things up or whatever. So then I put in a call to one of those, a different studio who I met through doing cartoons, who I knew did anime, and I called up the head. I was like, hey, Jamie, I think I want to do some anime. And he's like, what? And he's like, why do you want to do anime? I was like, I don't know. You guys do Naruto and stuff. It sounds like fun. I like anime. And they're like, okay, I'll send you something. And then 6 weeks later, he sent me Sailor Moon. And then the next year at Anime Expo, I was on the main stage with the rest of the Sailor Moon cast. So that kind of stuff can happen. You don't need to clap, but I won't say no either. But sometimes, I think that just goes to show, sometimes if you just ask for what you want and you feel like you've got the skills to do it, there's nothing wrong with putting that foot forward and taking a chance on it. And this is before anybody was making a ton of money on the convention scene. It was when my first con, I think I did for $100, and I just sat under a set of stairs with one headshot. And I was like, would you like one? And everybody's like, no, I don't know who you are. But but that's the kind of way that it happened. And now things are way different. And anime has been a huge part of my career for the last 17 years. And even though it's only been the last 11. And I'll always like have space in my heart and my schedule for a banger show that comes along. Like I have to be a little more choosy these days, but like if Bang Zoom brings me a great opportunity, I'll absolutely come in and read for stuff, or I come back and do all of my returning characters, even though sometimes I don't want to. But I'm gonna do them because I'm loyal to it, and it's been really good to me. So yeah. Where did you get that?
Yeah, that was my next question.
You criminal!
So yeah, that was the one question that I want to definitely ask tonight was the story behind that picture.
I hate you guys so much. That picture was, believe it or not, I'd been doing some movies and commercials, and I finished wrapping a movie for a company in Arizona, and they were like, man, you should come and do the cover of Tucson Lifestyle magazine. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. $500 and a photo shoot. I'll be on a magazine. Sick. And I showed up and there was so much denim and so many cowboy hats and all of that stuff. It was, anyway. So,
Can I say?
Yeah.
We heard we were coming to Anime Frontier, and I was like, Texas.
Yeah.
And you were in the studio.
Yep.
We picked you to do this, and I said, by chance, before you go, do you have any pictures of you in a cowboy hat?
You asked for pictures of me in a cowboy hat and maybe on a horse. And
we were experimenting with how we wanted to market this.
And
I didn't know what was happening.
I was stunned that I had so many to give you. I gave you like 4 options, and that's the one you picked from 20 years ago. Anyway, that's where that hat's come from.
Yeah, but you know, because I feel like, I mean, how many of you here wants to be voice actor?
Oh, yeah. A lot of familiar faces from today. It's nice to see you all. You said you would come, and now you're here. Good job.
Yeah. So, you know, every voice actor, professional voice actor that I work with, everybody gets in the industry in a different way. So, love to hear about how what was your journey?
Yeah.
Because no one path is right or wrong.
Right.
And I wanted to know, like, how was it like for you? Like, was it hard or was it
super easy? I just walked in. No, of course it's hard.
Already always wanted to be an actor from young?
Yeah, interesting. A lot of times you'll hear actors say, I can't do anything else. Or you'll hear a teacher that says, like, if you can't do anything else, you shouldn't be an actor. I'm like, that's lame. I do lots of other stuff, but you do have to love it because it's hard. It's small. It's competitive. I would say there's probably less working actors than there are, professional athletes. So like it's a hard job to get into. That said, my path was pretty linear. So even though I had varied interests through schooling, I was always kind of on a performance path. So I did my first professional play when I was like 10. And the tough part about this story is I'm really glad you said that everybody has a different journey, because sometimes I feel like I tell my story and people get disheartened. They're like, oh no, I can't do that because that's not that you can do it a million different ways. But I did professional theater, the Actors Equity Association, since I was like 10. And then I did that all the way through high school. I did summer stocks. That used to be theaters you could go to in the summer, and they would pay you to go do a rolling rep. And then I went to undergrad for it, and then I went to graduate school. I got my MFA in theater performance. I taught the classics. I taught Shakespeare, voice and movement, and some scene study classes, a couple of big theater history seminars. And I did that for about 3 years while I was in grad school. And then I continued to teach at the New York Film Academy for about 2 years in Los Angeles. And then, but that's when I was young. Like I did all that before I was 26. And then around when I was 26, I was like, okay, enough with the education part of it. I made myself a deal when I went to grad school. My deal to myself was, if I'm going to spend 7 years in higher education studying this stuff, I'm going to give myself 7 years in a major city, making a real go at it. And then if I couldn't make it happen in 7 years, maybe I would pivot, because I wanted other things in life. I wanted a wife and kids. I can do other things. I'm capable of doing other things. But I wouldn't feel right if I didn't give myself that chance. And I gave myself a hard cutoff. But for me, that would have been 32. And thankfully, I made it my career before then. But I think sometimes making a deal or a pact with yourself is a really powerful way to have accountability about achieving what you're going after. So, and you can make that as small term or as long term as you want. Like if you're sort of like in the moment, you can make a pact with yourself for the week or the day or the hour. If you have a tough time sitting at the computer and writing something, you can go, I promised myself I'm gonna write for 1 hour. For me, I'm a long picture kind of guy. It was 7 years, and that was my one goal. So yeah, that'd be unsolicited advice. It is solicited. You all came here for this, right? Okay. Yeah.
No, that's wonderful.
Yeah. Everyone has a different journey, but for me, it was pretty straightforward. I started pursuing voiceover pretty hard in 2009. About 2 years after I got out of grad school. I played in a rock band. I had a bunch of like crazy, stupid jobs. I was just enjoying being out of school and not doing theater for a while. I took like my summer break for 2 years after grad school. But then my God, is that gonna keep popping up? Yeah. But then yeah, that was my path for it. Yeah.
That's so wonderful.
Well,
Yeah,
it's a good question. Yeah, thank you for asking.
But I mean, can I just ask, so, when it's hard, right? Like you made that pact with yourself that until you reach that pact, what was a thing that you were telling yourself daily, or what did you do so that you don't just give up?
I was fueled mostly by spite. Spite's a powerful tool. When I was in my undergrad, my second year, I got put on academic probation and almost kicked out of my department because I had a teacher who really didn't like me. I was the only person in our conservatory who had their equity card, meaning I was like a professional, which I suspended while I was in school, and I feel like he hated me for it. And so he failed me in one of my conservatory classes in undergrad, which put me on academic probation. Do you want to know what he failed me in? Voice and speech. Take that! And the funny part is, I know his first name was Bill, but I can't even remember his last name. And that made me so mad. So this is such bad advice. That spite fueled me for a while. But the real question is, what do you do when you're in the thick of it and spite won't get you through? The crappy answer is, and it's just the real answer, it's literally just discipline and dedication. And I'm not trying to like elevate myself, but like in any way be like, oh, I'm so disciplined. But like that really is. So I moved to LA in 2007. And I don't know if you know anything about your history of the mid-aughts, but that was the writer's strike in Los Angeles. The entire city shut down, immediately followed by the housing crisis and economic collapse. So I was in LA in one of the most difficult times to be in there. I still tell this story like, all my bank accounts are in the red in 2008. I got my studio job that I worked at, I got fired from because they did all mass layoffs. And I couldn't get a job as a pizza delivery boy, and I had my master's degree. There were lines across the street for like waiter jobs, but because all of the unemployed actors, because everything shut down. And it was really tough. I sold like all my Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh cards so I could afford rent for 2 months. And it's just, I did what I had to survive. And once you make it past those moments, and that was my journey, you guys probably all have other symbolic moments like that. You know what the cool part is? If you make it past that part and you hang tough, the cream rises to the top and you're there for when the opportunities drop out. Because everybody who left LA during that time, when things came back, they weren't there to pick up the pieces of the work that was there to be had. So I think that was a big part of it. So yeah, just a little bit of like toughness and mental fortitude, a little bit of discipline. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I wish these answers were like more magical. But if you're ever trying to do something hard, like being a full-time performer for a living, like I have been for the last 17 years, it's really important to me not to have a boss. I'm really bad with authority. So that was like part of my motivation too. Knowing what you want and just making a decision to say that this is what I'm going to pursue, whatever it may be. And I don't care if you're a custodian or a chef or a teacher or a performer or an athlete, it's going to take work to get the good things in life, for the most part. Some people are just lucky, but not most.
So once you came out to LA and then you're working hard, and so how did you find your agents now? Like, how did it start to pick it up?
Like more practical stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, again, not a fun answer, but a truthful one. I just walked my way up the ladder. I got a bad agent who brought me shitty jobs. And then I got a better agent over the years because I was able to build upon the jobs that I got. And then it just kind of worked your way up until we're at top 5 agencies in the city, and then you get the best opportunities. People say, one of the questions I get the most at my table is, how do you find your work? And my agents bring it to me, but I also do my legwork. I also made that phone call and said, do you have any anime for me? I'm very clear with most people that I'm interested in working with that I want to work with them if I have an opportunity to meet them. But the truth is, it's a grind. So most people that are in a market that's not LA or New York, or maybe some cities in Canada or wherever you're from, that's got a voiceover market, even here in Dallas, there's a market. I say tap out your local market first. And everybody's like, I'm going to move to LA tomorrow. I'm like, please stop, don't. It's very expensive. Tap out your local market and find out who a reputable agent in your city is, and they will bring you some opportunity. The real truth is, unless you have a gift from God kind of voice, which some people do, and even some of those people can't capitalize on it because they can't act their way out of a paper bag. It happens. You're not going to walk in and book a national Coca-Cola commercial day one. It's just not going to happen. And if it does, it's just a gift, and good for you. You're living right. But what's most likely going to happen is you're going to book a $400 radio commercial in a regional market. And then you're going to book your first non-union commercial for like Carfax or something like that. And you're going to book like a half a dozen of those or 10 of those. Or you're going to book some industrials that you're on a pay-to-play site like Voice123 or Voices.com or something like that. And then you're going to build a resume, and then but more importantly, you're going to build a demo, and then you'll have an opportunity to submit that to representation. There are places that will allow you to directly submit, but Mami can probably speak to this better than I can, but they get thousands and thousands of submissions, and you just can't listen to all of them. I've been in scenarios where I've had other professionals be like, can you walk me into this studio or this, agency? And I'll be like, I can try, but even if they love me, I don't know they're going to listen to your stuff. So really, you have to kind of earn it by cutting your teeth on lower level stuff, and then you can work your way up. And there's nothing wrong with that. You should be doing that kind of stuff. Yeah. I hopped a flight to Peru. I probably shouldn't have. Do you want to hear a stupid story? I'll make it quick. I got tons of stupid stories. This is 2008, and I was on Voice123, which at the time was like a reputable pay-to-play site. I can't recommend it now. I don't know. I haven't been on it in a decade and a half, but I know it still exists. Basically, you pay $300 a year. You upload your demo, and you have an opportunity to audition for stuff. And I was non-union at the time, so I was like, I'll just do it and see what I can do. I got cast in a Peruvian animated film that was a dub. And I was like, okay. And they're like, we want to pay you $2,000, and we're going to fly you down to Peru for a month to make this movie. And I was like, sounds like a bad idea. I'll go. So I did. I flew down to Peru, and we recorded over the course of about 3.5 weeks. They had no localizer. We were helping them localize everything from Spanish. That's Spanish in Peru, right? Yeah. Yes. Okay. And then I flew away, and I was like, that was fun. And then 3 weeks later, we found out the guy that was the lead lied about his union status in Canada and tried to embezzle $50,000 from them or something. Not embezzle, but went to the Canadian Union and demanded his union rate. And I'm like, you're insane. And they're like, no, we just fired you. You agreed to work on a non-union contract. So they fired him and they're like, do you know anybody who'd be good for this part? So I helped them cast it. I got a bunch of people in. They didn't like anybody I sent them out of my friends and other people. And then my girlfriend at the time was just like, you should do it. And I was like, I can't. I play the sidekick. And they're like, you do a very funny voice. They'll never know. And I was like, okay. So I recorded it in like my young hero voice and sent it back to them. And they're like, we love this guy. Who is he? And I'm like, why don't you send it to a couple? So they sent it to Fox in Mexico City and Fox in LA. And they're like, see if you can notice anything. And they're like, I don't know, these two sound great together. And I'm like, okay, they're both me. So this movie is just like 90 minutes of just me. And I'm like, I'm the hero. And I'm his plucky little sidekick. And I'm like, it's unhinged. I will say this, #1 grossing Peruvian animated film of all time.
Can we still find it?
It's terrible. It's terrible. It's called The Dolphin Story of a Dreamer. Oh no, you know it. It's terrible. Don't watch it, please. It's cute. Yeah.
So I wanted to ask.
Don't fly to Peru. Okay, that's bad advice.
So I know you are doing other things outside of voice acting, so I want to get to it, but I kind of wanted to ask, how many auditions do you think you do per week?
I'll tell you the truth, it's been decreasing, and not because it's been decreasing for me, it's been decreasing across the board. So I would say in 2016, I was averaging anywhere between, I would say about 600 auditions a year across all platforms. That would be like commercials, anime, cartoons, audiobooks, all of it. Probably about 600. And I would say it's been reducing by 50 to 100 every year since. So last year I did maybe 250. And this year, since we were working on that game that you saw the trailer of, I've really backed off from a lot of voiceover. I'm not really reading that much. So I only did about 60 auditions this year, but I got about 200 or so, I would say. So it could be the nature of that dirty word AI. It could be a shift in the industry. It could be just less projects, less economic reasons. It's hard to say. But most of my friends have kind of been saying the same thing. Yeah, across the board. Less opportunities. But that's not to say if you really push. I'm also not actively seeking them as much as I was like 8 years ago. So I'm probably doing less because of my own choices too. So yeah.
So when you are actively seeking, and then let's say there's more job like 8 years ago, I think a lot of you here want to get to that spot.
Sure.
I think. So 600 auditions a year, what percentage average you say you are booking?
Are we trying to depress these people? Or,
No, the reality of.
Well, I would say 6-7 years ago, I mean, you're crushing if you're booking 1%. No, that's too low. Well, wait, hold on. No, that'd be only 6. On average, my IMDb increases by 25 to 30 per year. And those are just things that are credited on IMDb. That doesn't include commercials or audiobooks or anything that IMDb doesn't clock. So I would say my booking rate is like, how do I say this? That sounds like conceited. My booking rate is high. I would say I'm like maybe cold reads like 10%, and then stuff that I'm requested for probably 25 to 40%, and then stuff that I also do a lot of work that are just requests. So I'll just get an offer in from somebody that I work with, like Nickelodeon or something will call and be like, hey, we want you to do utility on this show. And that's just the nature of doing this for 17, 18 years. But I would say earlier in my career, if I was booking like 5%, I'm killing it. That means I'm booking somewhere around like a dozen to 20 new jobs a year. And you have to do that. Because even with anime, even the other stuff isn't like high paying. It may be like relative for you. I give you the rates. You can look them up yourself. You can go SAG-AFTRA right now. You do a cartoon, one episode, if you're working at scale, is $1,000. And that may sound like, oh, great, I'll take it. But that was good when we had residuals, but we don't anymore, not really. Now that everything's streaming, we rarely see residuals. It used to be you'd make 7 to 10%, or 7 to 10 times on the back end if something was on TV, but not really anymore. So it's not bleak as it sounds, but if you really want to make this your living, you need to be doing like a dozen different things at a time. You know, you need to be booking a guest star every once in a while, and then, you know, a regular show that you're back on all the time, depending on what kind of lifestyle you want to live, what kind of city that you're in, and what kind of goals you have. Now, if you're 19 and you're living with 5 roommates, if you're booking one thing a month, cool. I think that's awesome. And if you're booking 5 things a year, cool. If you're booking anything, cool. Because it's competitive out there.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you for that,
Yeah,
because I think a lot of people think, you know, from social media that like everything you audition, like you're so successful, you're in this all these things, but reality is like you auditioned a lot behind the scene, like you.
Our job is auditioning, for sure, and when we want to, and you must be okay with rejection and failing, right? Especially if you guys are like hunting for jobs right now. Half the work is just getting the opportunity to read. That's hard. You should be feeling good if you're getting the opportunity to read on a couple of things a month. That's amazing. That at least means somebody heard you and they're allowing you to read. Now amplify those numbers once you're getting auditions on the reg and you're proving that you can do it, then the booking rate is much more. So yeah, no, I mean, you're failing 95% of the time. My hard drive is full of stuff I'll never be in. Yeah. And you never know how close you are too. You could be a million miles away from getting cast and you could be number 1. Like for our Spider-Man, we were at Comic-Con in 2018 and they were talking about the casting process. And this is another good lesson for you to make yourself available. But I got my Spider-Man audition same day. So I just got a phone call and someone said, someone dropped out and we need somebody to fill in the 4:30 slot for these Spider-Man callbacks. Do you want to show up? And I was like, yeah, sure. And I rolled up, I think it was at Bang Zoom, and I showed up to the audition, and then whoever was the pick before me got murked, baby, because I just had a good day. But then what I found out was at Comic-Con, not Spectacular, that's Josh Keaton, the one before, who we shall not speak of, Drake Bell. What was that Spider-Man show? Ultimate, which I kind of like the show. But I did all the callbacks for that. I remember them clearly. This was really early in my career. And second pick. Yeah. It was, their top 3 were me, Yuri Lowenthal, and Drake. And Drake got it. And we all got to be Spider-Man eventually, which is pretty cool. But that just goes to show, like, but those people remembered. So, like, oh yeah, call him back in. So, yeah, it happens that way.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. So I wanted to talk quickly about the project, the game that you're working on.
Oh, a game?
Yeah.
Where you date everything?
Yeah. What you think of?
Yeah. Me, Ray Chase, we all know Ray, yeah. Max Middleman, we all know Saitama the One Punch Man. We're best friends. We all came up together, started doing stuff at BZ around the same time, but also we're all just kind of coming up. They're all a little younger than me, and in the anime world and the convention world. And I've been doing conventions for about 2 years, and I was like, oh man, I really need some buddies on the road. So we came up with our silly show that we do, our live show. We're going to do it tomorrow at noon. It's just a fun comedy show. But about 4 or 5 years ago, no, even more. God, 5 or 6 years ago, we were like, we want to do something tangible, not just a live show. What do we want to do? So we did it. So about your things about like auditioning, things that you never see. We have a dozen burned ideas that you guys will never see. 1 million pitch packets for shows that never went. And we didn't know if we wanted to do a show or a movie or what kind of project we wanted to pitch. But Ray had friends in the video game industry and he wanted to do a game. And I really love games. That's like where my heart lies. So Max is on board and we started riffing on ideas and we were joking one night and we were like, well, what plays to our strengths? We're not programmers. We've got to do something narrative. And we started talking about dating sim genre. I think Dream Daddy had just like come off of its I think it had just come off of its big like viral moment, you know. And then, but we'd all played like Hatanofo Boyfriend and, you know, all these other great dating sims, Doki Doki Literature Club. So we knew the genre. We're like, what if, it's gonna take us forever to make this. What if we're the next banger dating sim? And they're like, well, what do we do? And I was like, well, there are all these ideas like date birds, date hot dads, date monsters. What do we do? And they're like, what if, I don't know, we have to be original. I was like, I don't know. I said, what if you just date everything? And we all kind of like laughed and they're like, what do you mean? And I was like, I don't know, you date the chair, table, ceiling. And we're like, and then we like sat on it and we're like, that's pretty funny. So we made jokes about it. And then a week later, Ray was like, hey, I want to take that idea and run with it. Can I direct the game? And we can form the company and we can pitch it all together. So yeah, then we all put our cowboy hats on and we made our company, which we have a couple together already. And then we started pitching and then got some great offers in 2019. Then knock, knock, who's there? Achoo. Everything got murked because of COVID. We kind of were quiet for about a year and a half. And then we started pitching again in 2022. We landed with our publisher, Team 17. You know them from Overcooked, Worms, Dredge, like a ton of great indie games. And they came in and gave us everything we wanted. They gave us our money, they gave us our platform, and they became our publishers. And then we've been developing this game in earnest for about 2 years. And it releases on Valentine's Day coming up, yeah. And we get to work with the best people in the business. Bang Zoom did all of our sound effects and sound design. So they did an amazing job. We know a ton of studios and we did it the honest way. We sent out we asked for auditions from all the sound effects people and Bang Zoom just came back the best. So it's fantastic. So yeah, and check out their holiday store. Is that Christina?
Yeah.
I didn't put her in a cowboy hat. But yeah, that's how the game came about. It has like 75,000 voice cues.
Direct voice.
Yeah, so Ray is the director on it and the head writer, and then I'm a writer, the voiceover director, casting director, and then I'm also like Ray and I are creative co-leads on it. So we kind of workshop everything together. Oh, and then I do all the marketing, and then I'm the CEO of Sassy Chat. Yeah. But Ray, this is Ray's game. Ray learned how to program. Ray works on it 40 to 60 hours a week. Like I have to give him all the credit. He is truly like making this game with our team of, you know, other 20 indie devs, but he's really stepped up and just it's amazing to see him work over he's been a ghost, but he's been doing it. Yeah. So the game is a wild undertaking. It has like 1.4 million words. It's all branching dialogue, fully voiced, full 3D environment. It's truly unhinged endeavor. We're guessing 40 hours for your first playthrough. We don't know. It's massive. So anyway, yeah, that's how we landed here. What'd you say?
They're gonna break our storage.
Break your storage? No, we're working really, really hard. No, we're working really, really hard on optimizing all the art. It's a lot of art, but it's gonna run on Switch, so we'll be just fine. Yeah. No shade to Switch, but you guys know what I'm saying. Yeah.
How was it like directing and casting your own show?
Really fun. Yeah, we had some help. Meredith Lane helped us out with our casting a little bit. She's kind of a casting icon. She used to be at Nickelodeon, and she helped us out when we really run into a tough spot. But mostly we just called our friends and said, hey, do you want to be a dresser? And they were like it's a sexy dresser. Yeah, we have some, like, in the trailer, Johnny Young Bosch plays Dirk, Laura Bailey plays Harper. It's not announced yet, but you guys are all here or whatever. Ashley Johnson is going to be like one of our, we literally have like some of the best, like top shelf AAA video game actors. And Ashley plays cardboard boxes. It's so fun. But the process was amazing. We got to work with all the big agencies throughout the city, and then we all recorded in person for the majority of it. And everybody had a great time, and I think we knew we had a banger when everybody who left, regardless, was just like, hey, That was hard, but it was the most fun I've had in a session in a long time. So watching people do their magic and watching different people work was such a learning experience and incredibly enjoyable. And lots of spreadsheets, so. If you want to make a video game, I'm going to let you know right now, it's just spreadsheets. It's not fun, but it can be. Yeah, but it's an amazing process. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's great to work with.
Yeah. I mean, we also like have so much fun because like working with Ray as a producer, it was such a joy.
Yeah.
He would like trust us,
Yes.
with our creative decisions, and yeah.
Well, we found at our peak, we had a staff of about like a little over 40 in the summer when actually more if we count all of our writers. But when we were really like humming, we had like anywhere between like 50-ish people working at once, and you have to trust. You have to trust. It's such a collaborative process, like making a movie or making a game. You got to trust the people to do their job, and that's why hiring is so important. We had 6 months of just like hiring the right people, and we had massive turnover. The lead programmer we have today was not our lead programmer. Like it's just the way things go. Yeah, but
Is there social?
yeah, it is. I'm not even looking that much.
Is there a social media account or something that people can follow on dating?
Oh, yeah. There are official socials out there, but nobody follows it. It's just like corporate socials, right? Like sometimes they're good. Bang Zoom makes good content. Their social media makes me laugh. Ours is okay. You could just follow me and Ray. We'll post everything. Starting on the 14th of December, though, we're going to do the 12 dates of Christmas. We're gonna do an advent calendar, and every day we're gonna open up a little window, and we'll announce a new character and a new voice actor. So, yeah. So, and Ashley's our first one. Yeah.
So before we have to wrap,
Okay.
we have to wrap soon.
We do.
I wanted to have opportunity since everybody here is learning or becoming voice actors, and you're an educator. So I wanted to bring like one person up to,
To study?
feedback. Yeah.
To do a little something?
A little anime scene.
Oh my gosh.
So we picked the
Okay.
scene from Konosuba.
Okay. You're gonna make him do my character? You better be good. The one thing you can't make me do is pick, Mommy. I'll direct. You be the casting director.
We need one person. Red, you wanna pick someone?
What time does this wrap at? 8:30? When we're done, will we have time to do like a little Q&A? I'll go fast.
Yeah.
Someone's eyes really locked in me. Yeah, right here. Yeah.
At least a 10.
Really intense.
All right. I've never seen the show or character before. Just
What's
kidding.
your name?
My name is
Chrissy.
Hi, Chrissy. Give it up for Chrissy. Well, by the way, after this, before we really wrap, after we work with Chrissy for a little bit, we'll do like a quick lightning round Q&A. So have them in your head, make them specific, make them apropos to exactly what you want to know. We covered all the main bases of your favorites and how do I and what's all of that. So if you got a question in your noggin, I'll answer it, but make it specific and I'll give you the best answer I can. Deal? By the way, I'm also just one idiot, so this is just my advice.
I also wanted to ask you, Robbie, because
Yeah.
we have a fast pass for
Oh.
tomorrow's open audition.
Ooh.
We have 3 spots, so whoever was planning to attend tomorrow's open audition, Robbie is going to ask you a question, and you answer correctly, then you get the fast pass. But we'll do that.
This is terrifying. All right, we'll do that after this.
Yes, after this.
All right, do you know the circumstances around this at all?
No.
Do you know who this character is?
No.
Okay, easy, great. This is like what most auditions are. We'll make some snap judgments. Do you see him on the screen there?
Yes.
Okay, his name is Vanir. That's all you need to know for now. I want to give you 3 descriptive words for him. This is more than you'll ever get in your audition breakdown. He is bombastic. He is maybe a little bit silly and inappropriate, but he's also evil turned good. And he is an extreme capitalist. He's all about the money. He sells stuff. So we're going to preview first. So you're going to take what you can. Don't worry about the flaps too much. You just we're not trying to hit sync here. We'll just work on the performance aspect of it. And we'll give you a 5-minute crash course on how to act good.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. All right, we'll watch in Japanese first whenever you're ready.
バーガーハイムプログ通り商品開発を進めていたようだな。
Okay, that's Q1. So that's what you're going to have to do. Can we do one more preview? Oh, you're going to smoke it out.
I see you've been continuing product development, as I so wisely advised.
Good. Okay, good. All right, let's start from the top. We're just going to do the CM. Do you know what CM means? Closed mouth. So we've got these examining efforts. We're going to start with that first. So instead of saying, just that, can you pick like, so this is a cheat. Can you pick like a physical action to associate with that kind of looking? And what do you feel like when you hear his voice? Give me a descriptive word. Gross. That's a judgy descriptive word, and that's okay. So I'm going to give you an action word, and you're going to try to play it. Ready? And when you're going to go, that word is to drip. So you're going to drip on your And then for the second part, where I can see you've been continuing product development, as I so widely advised, I want you to stick your nose up in the air and give the sense of you are the master inspecting all of these things, right? So we're going to do just 2 simple actions, 2 physical actions, to drip and to elevate. Can we try it? Okay, one more preview, and then you hear 3 beeps, and then you'll be in after that. So we'll preview it one more time. So it...
You've been continuing product development, as I so wisely advised.
Okay, good. Now you're just going to hear 3 beeps, and you're going to give your take, right? Stay on mic, hold your phone up there, and you're good to go. Ready? One more time. Can we do it without the Japanese? Let's do it. You just hear 3 beeps.
I can see you've been continuing product development, as I so wisely advised.
Ooh, okay. So let me tell you what I liked about that. Did you hear the lilt in your voice when you said advised, right? How does it make you feel? Yucky? A little bit? Yeah. If I was like, welcome to your reading, you'd be like, ew, I don't want to be here anymore, right? Yeah. So now we're going to do something different. So you're going to play those 2 actions again, to drip and to elevate, right? But now I'm going to give you an intention. And your job now is, I'm going to use your own words. It might not be my choice, but it's your choice. I want you to try and gross me out. All right? So lock into the paper, drip, elevate, and your job is to gross me, Robbie Daymond, out. Give it a try, just on that one line. Ready? You'll hear the beeps and you're in.
I see you've been continuing product development, as I so wisely advised.
Way better! Yay! So this is just like acting scene study 101 stuff that we can work on, right? So do you know, what we're doing here is very simple. It's just playing an action. And an action can have a couple of different categories. It can be physical action. It can be metaphorical. Can you literally, like as a human, melt? No, right. But we all know what that means in essence, right? It has a feeling to it. It makes us feel a certain way. And to elevate has a sense of, I know what that, it's going to make me behave different physically, right? And we don't necessarily need to have all the backstory to do those 2 things, to melt and drip and then to elevate. And then when I gave you a task, which was to make me feel gross, you added that a little bit of extra intention. And that intention is something that you have to have when you go into every line. So when you go into a line, instead of just reading it and hearing what you think it should sound like, you need to make a choice about what actions you're going to play and then what your intent is for that line. Now we could get lost in the sauce and we can break the line up and maneuver a little bit more and give it some more things. But those are really specific ways. And you can go through each script and do this and make those choices beforehand and see how they work and then modify them. And you can jot them down. And if you've got only one opportunity to read for a scene, you better be doing your script work, choosing your actions, using what you know about the show. And I gave you a lot of that backstory, but you could find it out for yourself. Let's do one more line, short one, the next one, 138, which is just him changing the subject. So give a preview, and then I want you to not tell me what it is, but pick an action, any action word, any verb to something, and then have a secret intention of what you're trying to do to me, your scene partner, standing in for Subaru. And you're gonna do that, and then afterwards you're gonna tell me what they are, okay? So, preview, here we go, short line. One more time, one more preview.
Me too.
Good, okay. So now you're gonna hear the preview one more time. Think about his physicality, right? Can you do that physicality of lifting up a heavy bag of money without going off of mic? Like just a little bit of struggle into it. Think about your verb and think about what you're trying to do to me. What are you trying to do to me? Don't tell me yet. You're gonna hear beeps and then you're gonna go.
Which brings me to.
Yeah, okay, good. Do we hear the physical effort in the screen? Yeah, good job. What was your verb? Did you pick one?
Heavy.
Too heavy. Okay, we'll work on it. That's a quality. To lift. That's a very literal one, and it works just fine. What were you trying to do to me with that lift?
To show what is my main focus.
Great. Now I'm going to give you one. To show is tough. That's like representative. I'm going to give you a more specific one, and I want you to do one more take, and then we'll be done. I'm going to give you a different action. I want you to flaunt, and your objective is to entice me. So, you were trying to gross me out before. Now I want you to flaunt with that lift. We know what flaunt means. Like, I want to flex my superiority over you, and your job is to entice me. Don't worry about the pacing on this one. If it goes a little bit longer, it can be whatever it is. Don't worry about match and picture. Drop into it. 3 beats when you're ready.
Which brings me to.
Yeah, sure. Give it up. Let's go. Yeah. It creates a little vocal quality that makes it more interesting and different. So this is the baseline level of specificity that you should kind of be looking at when you're doing your script prep before you do anything. And this is something that you would learn in any kind of scene study class. Now that's just a start. We could then tool this thing up and tune it up, and then I would have to teach you to get so good at it that it becomes automatic that the second you see a word and it comes out of your mouth. That's the real trick. And that's what separates a good cold reader from someone who needs more prep time. Give it up for Chrissy! Good job!
Chrissy,
Yeah.
you get the bank notebook. Thank you.
Should I hand it over?
Yes, thank you.
Yay! Free stuff, yay!
All right, can I quickly give away 3 fast passes and then we'll go to Q&A?
What are the questions? You tell me.
So I'll ask the question.
Okay.
Do you want to pick people?
Okay, you ask the question, I'll pick the person. Only raise your hand if you know the answer.
What is the release date of Date Everything?
Chosa was the fastest.
February 14th, Valentine's Day.
Good job, you get it.
Yay.
All right, pretty good. Hey, you can still clap even though you're spiteful. Remember what I taught you, use this moment.
All right,
Oh, we got one more? Okay.
2 more.
2 more.
Where was the country? Which country?
Oh, that was so fast.
Robbie,
I gotta be real. It was
report.
you right there. You're wearing like a white and red top. Yes, you're pointing to yourself. You got a bun. Yeah, that's you. That's. No, wait. Oh. Yes, it's you. It is now. Come get your pass. You did it. Sometimes you've got to steal the part like I did with Spider-Man. See, there's going to be a lesson for every one of these.
Would you like
All right.
to ask the last question?
What is it? Okay, last question is, what is Mommy's job at Bang Zoom? Ooh, someone went, right there, red and black checkered shirt.
Casting director.
I'll let it pass. Yes, casting director.
That is
Give it up. All right. Best of luck to you. If you didn't get a chance to get into auditions, please do follow BZ on all their socials. They're really good at posting when they do these audition opportunities. It is not shtick. We've seen some great talent come out of them over the years. And if you're ready to shoot your shot, go for it. Congratulations, you guys. I know we got a wrap. Can we do a super quick Q&A?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it.
3 questions.
Long hair back there.
I'm a big music guy, and I love samples.
Yeah.
Helps me find more music that I like to listen to. You as an actor, do you have samples or like people who inspired you that you think you pull from?
Oh, that's so interesting. Yeah, what a good question. Not on hand, but I definitely have people that like have been inspirational for the type of work that I want to do. So the answer is yes. But I think we find that through consuming the media that we love. So for me, I'm a little bit older. Like one of my main like icons is a guy named Rob Paulsen. You may know who he is. He's another Rob. He was the lead in Animaniacs. He's a cartoon voice actor. And why I really love his work is he has a very, now it's got me spooked. He has a very distinct voice that's highly recognizable. And I'm told that a lot, like I'm easy to clock, but he's also transformative. So he does a lot of different kinds of roles and has a huge resume, even though he's got a voice that's distinct. So for me, Andy's a classic theater guy. And we have the same birthday. So he's one of my voiceover icons. So yeah, and he's the best. And I got to tell him that last year. And yeah, right up here up front.
What for you personally is like your fastest or most reliable way to get out of like an imposter syndrome headspace when that happens?
Oh, could you tell me when you find one? No. Gosh, how to get out of imposter? Just dissociate? No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, I think everybody has that early. I really, there's no way not to. And performance is, in its essence, false. Even though you're trying, the goal is to present it as truthful as possible, you are living truthfully under imaginary circumstances. So if you can suspend your disbelief long enough to do the job, you should be able to suspend your disbelief long enough to enjoy the work that you've done. So as a theater performer, I never got to see myself reflected. I only got to see myself in the eyes of the audience like I get to see tonight, us connecting and engaging, and I've tried to look all of you in the eyes this evening at least once, and that was my feedback. So external, not validation, but external confirmation that you're doing what you're meant to do is highly valuable, even if that's just your mom, your pop, your bro, your sis, your best friend, or someone who does, or your worst enemy. And in the end, really, you must make it about the work, or you will fail. You will fail. The imposter syndrome will eat you up because you will be too concerned about the outcome and not enough about the moment. Once I put something on tape and once it's out there in the world, I'll let it go. And then sometimes I get to enjoy it. But I'm not always even capable of like watching stuff that I'm in. But most of the time, yeah, I'll come to terms with it. It's nice. Yeah. Good question.
I think we have time for one more question.
I'm gonna lock it in, I promise. I will go all the way in the back, white shirt. Yes, with glasses. It's you. It's you. The one that just turned around, it's you. No, wait. Oh no, we'll do lightning round. We'll do it so fast. Go.
Okay, since you said mentioned that your first anime voice acting was Sailor Mirrors, since you just recently finished your last part of it in Sailor Crystal, do you feel like you had improved a lot in the character?
100%. Yes. I'm way better. Yeah. Great question. That's a great one. Glasses. I'd love to talk about how much better I've gotten. Yeah, you should be improving and growing. I'm sorry. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, let's do it.
I know it's still relatively early on the scene about that thing that shall not be named, but
Yeah.
anything that you do personally to protect yourself and your craft from AI?
You can't. It's coming, baby. One way or the other. We're on strike right now. It's the best we can do. I know my voice is out there in a million things. I wish it wasn't just inappropriate stuff. But if you're going to make a funsies song about it, I guess that's okay. Please don't. But you can. There's nothing you can do. It's the internet, baby. It's coming for all of us. But if someone uses it in an inappropriate way, you should send your people after them if you've got people, or send yourself and just say, don't do that, please. And we can all fight back against it in all forms of art just by elevating human art. It doesn't mean that AI art has to stop, or the people that are making it are evil unless they're being exploitative, in which they are. But if we say art comes from people and we stick to that, it's capped out already. It's going to go away. Nobody wants to see that shit. You guys were great. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
If you're auditioning tomorrow, best of luck. Do real good. Make me proud. And this has been awesome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Have a good night.
Thank you for watching Anime Diet. Be sure to smash that like and subscribe button for more tasty treats.